They have no voice. They're dispossessed. They're victims of the system because it's based on greed and privilege too. It rewards the rich and punishes the poor, the vulnerable and the sick, and it gets away with calling this democracy, democracy. There's no real change each time labor wins, because they're part of the system and they must obey the ruling elites while they pretend to be the champions of the poor, the vulnerable and the sick. But they never reverse the savage Tory cuts or the privatization of the NHS. The NHS. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. The solution is real democracy based on need, not greed, in a republic. And if it get the support of the majority too, if they had the choice to end the hardship for the poor, the homeless and the sick, they could put an end to fake democracy, fake democracy.
1.5 million private renters rely on some form of welfare benefits. That's why the government's £25 billion housing benefits budget has been cut by £7 billion in recent years, affecting over 300,000. The country has seen a lack of affordable housing developed over the past few decades due to the anti-working class policies of both Labour and Conservative governments. Council housing has been privatized, and no new stock has been constructed to replace it. It is notoriously difficult to be accepted for homelessness assistance in England. Local authorities are only obliged to assist those who meet a strict set of criteria. According to research by several homelessness charities, of the 275,000 people that applied for local authority support last year, only half were accepted. The problem has been reflected in I, Daniel Blake, directed by Ken Loach, which has been a big success at the UK box office, sparking hot debates in the country.
Well, I'm not going to give up. When you lose your self-respect, you're done for. I've been told by my doctor I'm not supposed to go back to work yet.
I'm afraid you must continue to look for work, or your benefit payments will be frozen.
There must be some mistake.
If you've been deemed fit for work, your only option is job seekers allowance.
I think Theresa May, when she became Prime Minister, spoke words of reconciliation. But we know her actions, we know her government. I mean, she has been part of a government that has consciously imposed a cruel regime on people at their most vulnerable. It's a government of sanctions. When the sanctions are put in place, people's lives descend into chaos. They become dependent on food banks. They can't cope. We know they're in danger of suicide, of self-harm. The stories are endless, and maybe on the way into the cinema you saw some examples of this. The government know what they're doing. They don't need a film to tell them. I think we need to change. We need a big change. We need to remove them, not talk to them.
In reality, economic stagnation, along with government austerity measures, are driving hundreds of thousands out of their jobs and into poverty. Alongside years of cuts to welfare entitlements, the Conservative government of Prime Minister Theresa May has recently imposed a draconian welfare cap, agreed by her predecessor David Cameron. This vastly reduces the income of the most vulnerable layers of society.
I'm an ordinary working person. This is a country that I don't recognise anymore. When I look around, I see the amount of poor people, homeless people there are around, and people having to go to food banks to get food. And this is not poor people, homeless people going to food banks. This is ordinary working people like me, like us, like every majority of the people around here. This is not a country I recognise, and that's why we're here today.